Here we go with season 4, session 3. Little vibrato for you on this beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed our health, wealth, and happiness mastery training today. 7 powerful ways to 10x the quality of your life. There's a little asterisk by 10x because I don't know if you're going to take any action, so I can't make any guarantees. Steps right into this conversation today, where let me kind of lay the land out for you. Season 4, session 1, we talked about the 7 fundamentals of online success. Something I've actually taught since 2004. I used to do a lot of speaking and so on. Back then it was actually the 5 fundamentals until I got into high performance in 2011. I think I added 2 more. Then we went through last session, and we went through the overview of the success roadmap. Now my promise to you is as we go through these sessions, we're going to dive into all of these basic fundamentals for setting up your success roadmap. And this particular discussion has literally saved or altered people's future towards the better because it helps them see around corners they just don't know as they're setting up a business or restructuring a business or simply using the power of the internet to go after growing their business, right? So I want to make sure as we step into this, there's going to be, if you've been in my trainings, there's going to be a little reflection, a little review. Please don't say, I already get that, I know that, whatever that is. My challenge for you is to say, wait a minute, have I reevaluated it now? Especially in light of when this is being filmed, we're in the 4th quarter of 2020. If you're setting up to dominate, to make 2021 your absolute best year in business, and I'll challenge you personally and professionally, to make it your best year for you and your business, and the business you're involved with, for life, then we're on it. Really critical conversation to go after this. So first thing I want to do is share this quote. Fail to plan, plan to fail. And so this session is all about assuring that we're planning to really go after a good, solid foundation and that we're going to live into it. I like to call this work vision, strategy, planning, and action. And the end action is where you take decisive action and go after it with a ton of clarity on the front end. That's the goal for you. That's the goal for us as we go through this today. So I want to make sure we're taking care of you that way. So we have a map. The map is this. It's a success roadmap. If you go and download it, I'll have it available for you. It should be actually below this video for you in our premiere here. But I'm also going to have it for you in the replay. You'll see there's little URLs, bit.ly links for each of these areas where I train you, and the overall training for this too, where I train you on all these different areas and the overview of them anyway. And today, like I said, we're going to go deep on the foundation piece. So here's the story, and I want to make sure we really knock this out of the park for you. There's been, in the history of my work, a few people who they had self-proclaimed that I got to them too late. Char, I wish I had known about this kind of concept of break-even before I started, because we didn't have any compass. And here's what happened. And I'm telling you the story with the way they told it to me. I figured eventually my stuff would sell enough or I would be making enough to cover my expenses. But I never really gave any thought to it. That never happened. And as the debt started to accumulate, my wife, in this case, I've heard this from many different people over the years, this particular example is the wife, said, hey, we got to pull the plug on this because now we're tapping into equity lines and we've racked up into the limit of our credit card and these kind of things. And we got to pull a plug on this. And I was bullheaded and said, no, I can make it work. And guess what? I never made it work. I lost the relationship. I was thousands of dollars in debt. And it took me years to get back around to even being comfortable from a lifestyle perspective. But that guilt that I carry around, still carry it. And that's the reason why, they were talking to me actually, was how do I get around the guilt of this? Because it was all on me and I made the mistake. I didn't do the work. I thought I knew, but I didn't go deep enough. Here's what I want to be sure of for you, is that there's no guilt. We're going to try to go for a business, but we're going to be incredibly articulate and we're going to plan in the front end. We're going to create a good vision. And that's all part of today's work. So by the end of our time together, here's my dream for you and us in this training is that you'll have a clearer vision, a clearer strategy of how to get there and how to plan for it. It's part of the strategy and planning. And then you'll have decisive action steps that you can take to get there. And beyond all that, if you have any questions and you're in our mastery community, you know this, Zoom Roundtable for you and me and for us to grow. Beautiful part is that's all recorded and you can watch the replay. Even if it wasn't you asking the question, you can watch the replay so that you get the clarity, the knowledge, skills, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, to really go after this for you. I know it's a tall order. Aren't you worth it? So many people, and this is something I've noticed, especially as we've done our mastery community, they get in a behavioral rhythm and they just don't go to the next step. And I'll tell you as a little foreshadowing, is it's usually the step from here to here. What I mean by that is they'll go through at a thought leadership level, and I'll talk about a service-oriented business too. At a thought leadership level, they'll go through and do the things to get lead conversion, get people's email addresses, but they do not establish and create a schedule around sending out offers, or as we like to call them, mini launches. So a shout out to Patrick in our mastery community. We've been working very close with Patrick on getting a mini launch established, and we got in the rhythm of it for fourth quarter, just last week, and he converted 2 sales, which is 2 more than he had, and he's going after it. And they're based on recurring revenue. We'll talk a lot about that today. So I want to celebrate Patrick's success, but it wouldn't have happened if the action wasn't taken. So let's kind of break it down for you as we step in a little bit of our training, just a little bit, and then we'll come back out and do our vision piece. And that is, what are you doing to generate continual awareness? What are you doing to generate leads? So what's the difference? Awareness is where they're seeing you and they're seeing what we like to call the interest that you're generating on their behalf. And I'll tell you where I got that in a minute. And then at the lead level, they're like, yeah, I raised my hand. I'd love to know more. I want to get clear. I want to understand what I need to do to move towards that goal, that dream, that desire, that ambition that I really want to attain. And that's typically a lead conversion. And then when they raise their hand ultra high and say, hey, I want to buy what you got because I think you can get me there, or I think you can solve my problem, or I think you can help me. That's the sort of path from awareness to leads to sales. But in thought leadership work, we have to be presenting offers every so often. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I have not been consistent about that at all. And so that's game one as we go for a decade of scale, a rhythm. We've got dialed in 2020. We got our awareness rhythm dialed in completely. We got our leads dialed in. We got all these different incentives going on. And we just started going into the fourth quarter with our sales initiatives inside of our marketing and our videos that are going in YouTube, and I'll break that down for you in a little bit. But it's just starting. And the commitment difference for me going into 2021 and the rest of 2020 is that I am on it. There's no stopping. It's consistency and flow. I've never been this consistent about anything in my life. Weekly Wisdom is now in week 43, 2, somewhere in there. Started at January of 2020, and we're going after it. We're evolving it as we get data and changing it a little bit, but it's still going. And I'm just, in total rhythm with it. It's just like, yeah, it's got to go out. There's no question. Where earlier I'd be like, do it for a couple weeks, it might fall off. Now we're in rhythm with 5 videos a week on YouTube to generate awareness and leads and even sales. Tuesdays we have our Adventures in Life video to show you what's possible if you live your dream life. Wednesdays we have health, wealth, and happiness mastery training clips, just little clips from those trainings. Thursdays we have business under mastery, so parts of this training will be out in clips on YouTube in the future. Fridays we have High Performance Fridays, get you ready for the weekend. And then Saturdays, live in the simulated dream life through Microsoft Flight Simulator. And then weirdly enough, I shared this in an earlier training today, that particular set of videos is what's taken off. And then second is the lifestyle, which I get. Lifestyle is a huge piece. And the training is more for selected people that are like, yeah, I've raised my hand, I want some help here. I need to solve this problem in my life. So they're more on the hunt of personal improvement, self-development, whatever that is. Personal development, self-improvement, however you want to word that. And that's the context. But my point with everything I've shared so far for you is this. These things are in rhythm. They're happening. They're going. They're humming. And it requires a certain set of things done, certain set of things tuned as part of our foundation, our active rhythms as we call it. Does that make sense? So I just want to kind of paint the lay of the land for us a little bit before we step into our vision work. So that being said, let's go ahead and step into the vision. And that's big picture perspective. Why are we doing this anyway? At the end of our life, when we look back, I like to measure my success through 5 Ps. Now I would challenge you to think this through. And if you've been with us, you know what this is. The first P is how purposeful I felt. Now in the lens of the work we're doing here, my purpose is measured 2 ways. Have I been helping people improve their lives somehow? And have I been helping people grow their business somehow? If I'm stepping into my very best self, I'm helping others improve their life somehow. I'm helping others grow their business somehow. Through the power of, thought about business mastery, but also through the power of the internet over here. And kind of similar over here, through the power of the internet, I'm helping you improve your life. Does that make sense? That's me living purposefully. And I don't know if that's what it is for you, but I just want to make sure we understand that first P through the lens of what we're covering today. So everything that I do here and I'm going to share with you today is all about that piece of helping people improve their life. And I'll show you my How I Serve board, a piece of it. And I'll also show you like the growth of business, right? Growing people's business. And so that's the first P. So when you create your vision, I would challenge you to think through what it is for you, that the legacy you want to leave. Now you notice the operative words for me was helping others. And that's very much what we teach and train and coach in high performance. We step out of ourselves. It's not our story. It's your story. It's you through this beautiful Panasonic Lumix GH5 lens. I see your eyeballs. I'm here with you. And we're going through this journey together. And my dream, my goal, all my energy, I hope you feel it, my enthusiasm for you, is to really help you think about things that you may have not thought of or that you may have heard before. But now it's time to double down and really go after it. First part of our vision, purpose. Second part is really aligning ourselves, and this is very prevalent in Western culture, with what we're emotionally connected to, engaged, enthused about, our passion or our passions. So I got real clear early in my life, and I was blessed to have that clarity. I love helping people. Thanks, Gramps. Bob, you rocked it out for us, me and so many others, showing the true nuance, the dance of helping others improve their lives through woodworking, through crafts, through wood shop, just in general. My grandma was the same, through cooking, baking, Sunday school. She used to teach Sunday school, and just being a great overall person, showing you, compassionately helping people. Any person, that's who they were. I'm just blessed I had those role models in my life. They were incredibly passionate about it and going after it. So what we have to be clear about as far as our vision goes is what are we passionate about? And what are our strengths, maybe? What are our weaknesses? Are there any weaknesses we need to build, or do we need to delegate so we can step into our passions? My dream for you, if you're in thought leadership and you're in a studio like this, is that you're on camera and everything else is handled for you. You get on camera, you deliver great curriculum, great teachings, great coaching, whatever it is, and you take the video file and you give it to somebody, and that somebody just peels it apart, puts it in the place where their students can get access to it, or puts it in an online course platform like Coursera, I think is one of them, Kajabi, all these different platforms, Udemy, these different platforms that you can teach others in. And then you just step out and enjoy life. You've got connected offers, of course, so you can make some monies, but you're just living in your passion and everything else is delegated. What kind of life would that be like for you? That's what we're doing in the Internet Services Group side of things, is we're now pivoting that company to really help deliver on you living into your thought leadership. So I've had a couple discussions, and we've got a couple people we're doing that with, outside of the other work that we've done traditionally, and it's really paying off. But there's active rhythms at play, and we're testing and measuring along the way. And that's part of our passion in that realm. My sort of challenge for you is, what are you passionate about, and is it aligned with what you're doing? And then next, of course, as we think about the 5 Ps, from a vision perspective, is are you bringing the joy into it? We're in, I don't know what number this is, 36, 37, 38, 39th session of this training, over the last 3 years and 4 months, right? We're in our 4th year, essentially. And I'm bringing it. I look over my old videos and I was passionate then, but I'm even more passionate now and more positive and bringing the joy. I'm in a great rhythm. Like I could get in, create these boards, doesn't take that long, teach. I do think about them a lot in advance. Create the board, teach through it, and be here for you and be engaged and energetic with you. And there's been a couple, as I looked over some of them, I'm like, wow, something's really going on there. And I can usually remember what it was. But more often than not, and I'm pretty hard on myself in terms of rating that way, I'm living into these P's something fierce. So question for you as you think about your vision, what are you doing to sustain positivity at a fundamental or foundation level? What are the things you're saying and what are you feeling, what are you being? And if you need some help there, go back to the earlier training today. With your team, if you have one, do the no, low, medium, high cost exercise. And then strategically put things in play for you to do at a team level that you guys all enjoy. Or girls, guys, whatever it is, right? Really powerful. Next up, productivity. What is it for every person on your team or within you at a vision level? What are they doing? What are the outputs they're creating? How are they feeling while they're doing it to feel productive? So when we talk about productivity at a high performance level, we have a couple things going on. One, we're going after our bigger ambitions in life and in business. And we've actually got time blocks. Like today, filming this, being here with you. This is a big part of my weekly ambition. I do this once, these 2 trainings we do once per month, right? And I got to bring full energy. I sleep bank for this. It means I get an extra 30 minutes to an hour 3 nights previous to this just so I can be on it. I don't want any hint of tiredness, of fatigue here. Sometimes I even fast beforehand to get the extra buzz of energy. And I've been doing that actually the last few months, side note for you. And I watch the recordings, I'm like, dang, I can sense the difference in me. Does that make sense? But I want to make sure I'm living productively through this legacy we're creating in this training. And then the clips from it that will go out into the world on an enduring basis. The clips meaning the video clips that we pull from this. My aim is to get 4 clips from every training and then leverage those for the next 4 weeks. And if I keep that rhythm, I'll always have clips to put out in the world on my Wednesdays. Thursdays actually for business mastery. And they just come right from this training. And right below the videos you may have seen, $1 trial to get the rest of the training. Here's 3 other things you can do to really get masterful with what this topic is or what this training is. Does that all make sense? If it doesn't, take a look at the clips that are in my YouTube channel and you'll see exactly what I mean. If you have any questions about doing that for you, bring it to our Zoom roundtable, pop me an email, whatever it is, we'll rock it. That's productivity masterfully done along the lines of these other P's. Bringing passion, consistency, purpose, and joy to the world. Enduring. I'm thinking, and it's happened a few times now, I'm tired of seeing myself on YouTube. But that's fine, because this is what we need to be putting in the world. I'd rather have somebody consuming some of my content than watching the news or going on a neutral negative trek, doing something else. So that's kind of the way I reconcile it, if you will. The 5th P is profit. And it's a big part of today's conversation. And as you think about a vision for your business, you should be blasting past your break even. And we'll get into the details of that in just a second. To really go after true profit, but also keep expenses down, at least to get a padding, so that you can sustain for a year, 2 years, 5 years, or like me, many years beyond that, for the long haul, just based on the previous work you've done, the padding you've created. Does that all make sense? So those are the 5 P's, and I would dare you, I'm going to dare you to put that in a vision statement for your business. Here's how we're going to be purposeful. Here's what it feels like to live from purpose for us as our company. Here's what it feels like to come into work emotionally connected and engaged. Here's how we're going to get there and stay there. And yeah, a lot of those principles come into play. Sleeping right, hydrating, eating right, exercise. Do you guys have exercise or walking during your business day with your team, where you get out and just reflect, stretch, move around, right? Positivity, what are we doing to bring the joy? And conversely, we talked about this in a previous training today. What are we doing when the joy is sucked out of us? What are we doing to reset ourselves? Highest performers do not have bad days. They do not have bad hours. They have bad moments because they recognize, ooh, neutral negative mindset's coming over. And it could have been a trigger, or it could have been just a thought that appeared. And now I got to go out and reset myself. I'm going to reset myself so I don't wreck myself. and go after it. I shared in our previous training today exactly what I do to reset. And if it's a magnitude of 10 out of 10, then it's a beach day and I just go out and get disconnected from everything and really own that. Does that all make sense? So that ends the vision or the perspective part of our work today. Now let's step into the training aspect. So really critical as we get into this, that you spend some time clearing your mind. Because the concepts I'm going to go over, I'm going to try to break them down as simply as I can. Sometimes they just fly over our head. And I'm going to really do a good of a job as I can to illustrate, tell story. But it's incredibly critical that you get all these different components. Now, I've kind of shot across the bow with them in some ways through our last two sessions, but we're going to go deep on the creating of a foundation. The outputs for your foundation. So let's kind of set the stage of what we're aiming to achieve here is this, that we know what it will take for us to kind of hit that first finish line. And that first finish line is the break-even finish line, where the amount of money we're making, and I'm going to challenge you to make that through recurring revenue, rebills, subscription income, is equal to our break-even. I'm going to challenge you to do that within a year to 18 months. Now, I've been able to do that. Typically, I can do that within 6 to 10 months with the different revenue streams that I get going. But I'm also very clear that my break-evens are ultra low because here's what I know. I know that thanks to Tim Ferriss in 2006, I didn't need 90% of the stuff that I had to live a happy, healthy life. As a matter of fact, the less stuff I have, the better I feel. So I had all this stuff that had recurring expense to it. A motorhome, a boat, all these things. I can rent a boat, I can rent a motorhome, and boom, I don't have these massive recurring expenses and inflationary expenses, meaning that if the motorhome's generator broke down, that was a couple thousand. If I did the repair on the boat, that was a couple thousand. Like these variable expenses throughout the year. Don't have that anymore. My break even, my cost of living, and having the studio and the home and my studio in the sky and my a room in my condo, just did it because, and I didn't do it for COVID. I did it way before that. I did it because I wanted a place where I could just go flip on a couple buttons and just record and live my purpose. So I'm just kind of throwing this stuff out at you to really understand what a break-even is and how to lower the total cost. Here's what we know. Most millionaires have 7 or more revenue streams. And my job is to help you understand that every income stream you have, you should have already calculated how to get to break even with it without killing yourself. So a lot of people are like, Char, I'm coaching and this is my price per session. And if I do 62 sessions a week, then I hit my break even. That's not sustainable. I can tell you it's about 12 to 15 sessions a week over the course of 3 months is the part where you're going to be starting to fall apart at 15 if you're doing coaching right and giving it the appropriate time, energy, and effort. I've done as high as 42 sessions in a week. I've maintained 28 to 30 for 3 weeks straight and totally destroyed me. I did that intentionally. I didn't have to do it. I did it because there was a need for it. But on the other side of it, I wanted to see where the line was so I knew to come back from it. Does that make sense? Just talking to you from the results perspective. As we think about break even, we got to be real clear that here's the costs of what we need to have our business sustain and us sustain. And as a small business owner or entrepreneur, those costs can be the same. Like for me, they're the same. Here's what I need from health insurance, from all this other stuff. Here's the total amount per month that I need to sustain at a break even level. And here's what that equates to in recurring revenue subscriptions. So if you look at $85 a month times 12 months, that's $1,000 a year roughly, right? So if your break even is $60K a year, you need 60 people paying you $85 a month to hit break even. You see how the math works? Now what you're doing for that $85 a month hopefully isn't trading a lot of time for money, but rather it's leveraged, meaning that you're training once a month and maybe getting on Zooms every so often too to support them. So maybe 3 days out of the month you're doing work towards that $85 per person, and the rest of the month is yours. How does that feel? Now you get into what we'll talk about here in a moment, level 3 income, percentage sale, percentage profit. On the side, you're investing some of your money. And you might try compound interest trading, something I do, where I'm not looking for I'm not day trading. I'm looking for 3 to 5% gains in certain stocks through a system I've created. And if I hit that, I make some money. And I do that a certain amount of time, boom, there's another $1 million revenue stream. Does that all make sense? That might be a little too deep for you. All I want you to be framed for as you think this through is, number one, what am I doing to reduce break even in my life? So I don't have to work to get to it so hard. Two, what am I doing or what am I building or do I have as offers that are recurring revenue based to hit break even? So anything above it is gravy. Meaning you can do one-on-one sessions, you can do whatever in that context, and you're totally going after extra income above and beyond, and you're doing it because you love it, not because you have to. There's a difference there. Everything I do now, and I'm blessed to be able to tell you this, we just hit, over this last weekend, our 20-year anniversary with me retiring at the age of 29, and we celebrated big time down on the beach, had some really delicious eats, some awesome walking, rocking it out, going after it, trying a new thing, slow-mo on my camera, on my phone, and catching some really powerful things. Water flowing in over these pilings. I'll have to share that with y'all. And it's slow-mo using this new thing. My goal for this month was to try slow-mo out. Found that on TikTok, by the way. But these are the things, right? 20 years ago. Finally got it right 25 years ago. Owned it in 5 years. Sold the business. Have basically lived, not having to do much. Doing it because I want to. Difference. Personal freedom. So you know my saying, recurring revenue equals personal freedom. And I hope you're sensing how we got there. That being said, as far as we opened up this storyline, now let's dive deep into some of the principles of setting your foundation. The very first one, as we talked about, is understanding the 3 levels of income. So level 1 is in red for a reason, trading time for money. If you're going after freedom in your life, and you really get clear about the fact that you can only trade time for money so much and you hit a ceiling, that's in red. Stay away from it. Use that as a secondary tool to, and we'll talk about this in a minute, to upsell or to go after. Do what you want at the time intervals you want, above and beyond level 2 income, which is RR, recurring revenue, subscription income. And level 3 is percentage of sale, percentage of profit. So let me break down how the world works if you prioritize level 2 income. You have, as we talked about a moment ago, 60 people paying $85 a month times 12 months is $60,000 a year. And let's say that's your break even. Okay, all I have to do out of 7 billion people on the planet is help people see what's possible through the work that I do to the betterment of their life or their business. And I've got a plan for them, a curriculum, a journey set out. And I'm going to support them along the way. So you know how it works in our mastery community. Twice per month, we have 2 Zoom roundtables, and I dedicate the day to them. Before the roundtables, the second Wednesday of the month, we have 2 trainings like today, our Health, Wealth, and Happiness and our Business Internet Mastery. Then we go into the training, or the Zoom roundtable, where we support you, take care of you, and help you. Hope you sense it. Isn't that awesome? And then 2 weeks later, we do high performance coaching and we do the same thing, Zoom roundtable. So these things stir up the conversation for what we can do to support you and help you as you're building your business, taking care of your life. As we talked about in our previous training today, asking better questions towards a better quality of life, going after it. Does that all make sense? That's the recurring revenue piece. The beauty is that can scale indefinitely. Not the Zoom roundtable part, and I'll show you the difference in a minute, but people having access to now our 39 sessions of training for a certain price per month, and new trainings as they come out. And then if you want to up level or get into our mastery community, it's by application and it's a much higher price because there's interaction with me involved. I could shut everything else down and go after that. I do a lot of other things because I love to do them. But that's it. That's all level 2 income. And I could easily, and I already am, living into basically 5x my break even. I talk about that right here. 5x my break even just through the recurring rev of my businesses. So I'm living an example of this in play, just so you know. And if you want more articulation on exactly how I got there and I've done it, it's outside of the scope of today's training, but I'm happy to go over it for you, with you in our roundtable, so that you have that idea and that's possible. Talked about this in our training earlier. Roger Bannister, I think that's his name. He ran the first 4-minute mile and everybody was like, that's impossible, that's impossible. He did it. Oh, okay, I can do it too. once you see it be done, hopefully you sense that changes things for you. Does that all make sense? I hope this is landing for you, and I hope this is helping you. So we have to be clear, where are we trading time for money? How can we step away from that or aim to reduce that, unless we like to do that? But where are we generating or creating recurring revenue streams that are on auto bill, that just come in again and again as long as we meet or exceed, I'll dare you to exceed the quality, the commitments, the service, whatever that is. For that, where along the way can we get a percentage of sale, percentage of profit? So if you'll notice, in any of my videos, my flight simulator videos, below it, there's a whole list of what I built a couple months ago as my gaming computer. All the parts are on Amazon. If you click on those, which people have been clicking on those, it's blowing my mind. I make money when you buy this stuff through Amazon. Every video I put out has that in there. You see the effect of those seeds planted for the long term? Every video clip that I put out from our trainings, boom, trial this for $1, get into our business mastery training only, not the mastery community, trial it for $1, then it renews after 7 days at this price, and go right here to get into this training in its complete facility, meaning all of it, not just the clip that you saw, but the whole training. And by the way, there's 3 more trainings that will help you get more competency along this. Once you're in, click here, watch the rest of the training, click this one, and this one to build competency fast. It's the ninja path to mastery. And that's in every video. You see how powerful this can be? Percentage of sale, percentage of profit? Ooh, powerful. So let me go over that one more time. A lot of people, they get confused as to what this means. Level 1 is red for a reason, trading time for money. So in the context for what I do, that's generally one-on-one coaching, 1-hour sessions, and I do quite a few of those per week. I do those because I want to. I love the one-on-one conversation because it fuels me to understand what's necessary for me to train, teach, and coach in our trainings, in our high-performance coaching, and it gives me the sort of illustration for stories to tell and so on in our high-performance group coaching context. Level 2 is trading time for money. And that, is recurring revenue, not trading time for money. Recurring revenue equals personal freedom. And what our goal is just to run that. If you're looking for mind, spirit, financial, personal freedom in general, level 2 is your answer. Recurring revenue. Let's go after it. And I'm blessed to be sitting here at the other side of it going, hey, I have tons of free time. And it's because I got clear on that in the 90s. And I've really made a point of making sure whatever I do has that in it from the way I serve in all facets of my businesses. So powerful. And level 3 is kind of icing on the cake. Percentage of sale, percentage of profit. That can take the form of affiliate programs that you might like to recommend to others. Boom. If you recommended Jeff Walker's latest product launch formula, he was giving you almost $800 for every lead that converted to a sale. Amazing. If you like Amazon affiliate and you recommend products from there, boom, you make some money there. I keep getting, it's automatic set for direct deposit. I keep getting those every month. Not a heck of a lot, but it's still something. And it's sitting and spinning, doing what it's supposed to do. And it's growing because of the way I've structured my videos. So that's the 3 levels of income. Now let's step into, as we talked about earlier, these 3 goals. And as we kind of review this, we talk about this at the top of the success roadmap. Our 3 core goals when we're out really trying to create success in our business and online. And those 3 goals, as you can see, are awareness, leads, and sales. Now, when we measure from an online success perspective, we're looking for a measurement of online sales completion. So a lot of people, their sale happens offline. And that means where, you generate awareness online. Hey guys, this is something to think about. Here's a checklist for you to think through this. Here's a way of assessing that. And then to get that, they have to give you an email. That's a lead conversion. That means they've raised their hand and said, I'm interested. Give me what you got and I'll review it. And now they've made themselves not anonymous to you. And then beyond that, the sale may happen offline where you email them back and go, hey, I'd love to get on a discovery call with you and see if there's anything else I can do to help you based on what you've downloaded or based on the needs that you have right now. And then the sale may happen where you call them up and they'll give you a credit card over the phone and it's an offline sale. An online sale is where in Kajabi they press the button and they type in their credit card and they say go. And they've given you some monies and it's converted online. So that's kind of what I want to make sure we're aware of. Everything we're doing in our business should have one or more of those as a goal. And let me kind of break down for you what I just shared. If you go into any of my videos on YouTube around the training clips that I'm putting out, you'll see right below it, this clip is from a bigger training that's available down below. If you want to get access to it, it's a $1 trial. Click this button. Once you're in, you'll go right to the training, right into Kajabi's product where the training is delivered to you in video and audio, and if there's any associated worksheets. If you want to get more masterful here, go ahead and get into these 3 other ninja moves for getting more, getting the result faster or learning what you need to know faster. You see how that hits the lead and the sales piece? Now, the videos that I'm putting out from the Health, Wealth, and Happiness Business Mastery piece, they're all documented. They're all aligned with what we taught last session on SEO. They're using search engine optimized titles in the description, where applicable, the URL. And so they're getting what Google and YouTube are doing for me is they're suggesting the videos in relevant areas that are similar, meaning other videos that have a lot more views. I'm getting suggested. That's where the flight simulator videos are taking off like crazy. And then they're also getting aligned in Google search. Does that all make sense? It's pretty cool how that all kind of works out. And if this is all over your head, go back and watch the previous training or ask in our Zoom Roundtable if you're in our mastery community. So our goals have to be very clear. Hopefully so far with what we've shared, we're incredibly clear on what it means to build a really successful foundation. One where you have a lot of breathing room and there's real simple strategy around going after specific endeavors. So let's break this down one more time. We have the 3 levels of income, trading time. But I would recommend you do it after or while you're building towards your recurring revenue stream. Sometimes people have to do that in order to bring in the income until they got their recurring revenue stream humming, and that's fine. But never let the foot off building your recurring revenue stream. Then we have level 3, trading time, or percentage of sale, percentage of profit, and making sure we've got those links dialed in or other things that our audience could use that we can make money from. Not being greedy, but helping them across their path along the 5P line of ambition. Cool. Down here, these 3 core goals: awareness, leads, sales. Now what we've broken down for you so far is this. What are we generating awareness toward? In my context, all of my video clips are generating awareness toward, here's a specific thing that can solve a specific problem. And if you want more from where this came from, there's a place to purchase access to it. And then below that, here's 3 things that'll help you forward even faster. That's just the YouTube strategy. And if you need access, I'll put a link in the replay below this so that you can get right into one of those descriptions, and you can copy that description and make it your own, especially if you have Kajabi with programs already in your Kajabi setup, rocking it out. So that's this piece. And then over here, we talk through this idea of understanding what our break-even is and how critical that is. Now, what I've discovered is I've done this work with literally, now I can say hundreds of entrepreneurs over the last 10 years, is that the break-even is usually 60K to 100K. If it's above 100K and they're a smaller, not as established, maybe in their 30s, 20s, something like that, then we generally talk about lifestyle shift to bring break-even down. And that's usually a great eye-opening conversation. Asking better questions in that space. So let's just, for sake of argument, say that our break-even is $100,000 a year, United States dollars, and we're going to try to get to income. If we charge $85 a month, that's $1,000 a year. We need 100 people spending $85 a month with us to reach break-even. I've been there when people have reached that. Here's what I know. When you're in behavioral rhythms, like we talked here, to get subscribers, and you build that case for that, and you hit that, you don't usually stop. It's in momentum. And you just blast past 100 people. And you're like 125 and you land and you're like, I'm already above break even. And I'm living comfortably to a degree, or paying down debt, or I'm able to change up my one-on-one schedule, or get rid of my other job that I had. Now I can dedicate my full being into this recurring revenue component and really get dialed in on the marketing and the sales and the offers and the launches and the mini launches and all the things that relate. And it's really crazy what happens when that shift happens. You sense it? So let's say you get to 200 people at $85 a month. That's 200,000 a year, right? That's the comfort level. As long as you don't bump your expenses. A lot of people, when they start making money, they're like, now it's time to spend. And then we call that inflationary expenses. So all we're trying to think through as we lay the foundation for this is how can we get to comfort level without killing ourselves? And the answer is through recurring revenue, subscription income, leverage. You follow? And then what are we doing to sales for that recurring revenue stream? It kind of works like this. You make a phone call to a person who's expressed interest in what you have. And you say, how would it feel if you were with me every month and I was there to support you as you're going after this dream? Oh, that would feel awesome. Because this is a journey, not a destination. And I want to make sure you're taken care of, and I'm bringing new training in, and you get access to me twice per month, part of our mastery community. We get that access to me through the Zooms twice per month. And I'm there to answer your questions. It's all on replay, so if you need more articulation, you can watch the replay, listen to the replay, go for there. And then our mastery community members also get a check-in every quarter. So we're really helping them there too. There's a tremendous amount of value in that. Does that all make sense? That's the piece. If I can live comfortably, making sure I'm bringing new distinction and helping them, done. It's life lived. I'm living into my 5 Ps, going after it. So as we go to scale, which is my word of the decade for the 20s, we have to go after this. And I would even challenge us to think about 10x. So when we think about level 2 10x, it's, what is that? If we did 10x, 100K, so it's $1 million a year, right? Yeah. So it's 1,000 people at $85 a month. Is what you have scalable like that? And I have generated or created the way that it is for me. So I obviously cannot support 1,000 people in our Zoom roundtables. So there's a limit or a cap to the mastery community. But I can definitely support it in access to the trainings, library, and future trainings part, minus the interactivity piece. That's a lesser price. Does that all make sense? So here's the way it looks from a How I Serve board. And let me bring that up actually, as we get into it. And we got it here, is from the infinity, this is actually a picture of what's behind my door here in the studio. This is a picture of an infinity offer, Life and Business Monthly Mastery. And all that is our health, wealth, and happiness trainings and our business internet trainings. And you have access to both and all new ones that come up. Does not include interactivity. If you want mastery community level where you get access to me, my cap is 150 people for that. Does that all make sense? Because as much as I can support and still maintain quality. And I've done the math on how that works for multiple Zooms and stuff like that. So these are the 2 main offers. That's it. Everything else is additional and supplemental and other things that I can do, but I do not have to do those. These are it as we go to scale in the 20s. That's everything that matters. Today through December 31st, 2029. Wow, it's kind of scary just saying those numbers. That's it. That's the math. So I hope I'm showing you the demonstration of all this and this through this. So here's the way it breaks down. The mastery community, the monthly mastery trainings, like this particular one we're in right now, we're pulling clips out of that and we're putting them into YouTube to give people value in advance. They can watch a clip, get some distinction, get some training, get some help around topic. And that stands alone. But if they want more, I got it for you. Go to the description and take a look. Go to my website, lifeandbusinesssuccess.us. Let's go on a journey together. How can I help you right now? So as we step into that and we look into the life piece, the first part of my life work is me putting out what I call relationship builders. That's the R with the circle around it. Weekly wisdom. Every Sunday, a new weekly wisdom appears. And that'll be going on for this decade. There's a health, wealth, and happiness video series. That's in the life side of it. That's every Tuesdays is the life piece. So there's a part of that where I'm doing life adventure. Wednesday is my health, wealth, and happiness clips on YouTube. Every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m., a clip from our health, wealth, and happiness training appears. And we're generating interest for that. It's generating awareness. It's generating leads. It's generating sales. Does that all make sense? But it comes from our mastery training, the trainings that we're doing right now. We also have this legacy. That's where the E is, evergreen, relationship builder, 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge with the Wheel of Perspective PDF. Then we have the life assessment mini course, and to be filmed is the life assessment mastery course and bonus. And that's where I walk through this at a very in-depth level with worksheets. That's going to be filmed. I'm working on filming that this quarter. And that's the life piece. Now, above and beyond that, I don't have to do these things, but we now have life monthly mastery. So if people wanted to just get the life mastery training, they did not want the business part, just our health, wealth, and happiness monthly training, that's available as its own offer. And that could scale up big time. Does that make sense? Hope I'm not blowing you out of the gate here. Above and beyond that, these are completely optional for me. I do not have to do these. HP group coaching, HP one-on-one strategy session. So HP is high performance. Group coaching, which we have as part of our mastery community. High performance one-on-one strategy session, high performance one-on-one coaching, and health, wealth, and happiness mastermind. That's a future goal of mine, is to have a mastermind. With the way the world pivoted, that's been pushed off to 2022. Is to really get a few people, 6 to 8 people that come down to Florida, 3 or 4 times a year. And we have a blast for 4 days, 3 days, whatever that would be, owning that. And that's my entire set of offers for it. But I want to make sure you see that all that matters, all that really matters from this perspective and this perspective is this infinity offer. And that includes health, wealth, and happiness and business internet training. But if people want one or the other, they can get that. Just the health, wealth, and happiness training, just the business internet mastery training. So those are like downsells. And it gets a little complicated in the way that's laid out, but this is it. For me to live a fully 5P'd life, purposeful, passionate, positive, productive, and profitable, that's it. And I know what my numbers are, and we're well over them from break-even perspective. The foundation is everything here. Fail to plan, plan to fail. This is everything about this for you. So do you know your break-even? Do you know your comfort? Do you know your dream level? Those happen automatically after you figure out your break-even. If you do not, and if you need help, please reach out or join our mastery, our Zoom roundtables. I'm here to help you figure that out, dial that in for you, make sure you see it. If you haven't taken our 0 to 100K training, which I filmed immediately after I built the 100K in income in a little over 7 months for our revenue stream, and I did that organically. I did not go to scale for that. It was just through word of mouth and reaching out and doing discovery calls and those kind of things. That I go into huge detail about this from this perspective in that training. If you need access to that or want access to that, I'll put a link below so you can get into it. If you're a member of our master community and you don't have it yet, you get that at a 50% discount. So I'll make sure that that's linked below for you and rocking it out. Next up, and we've kind of gone over this, is have you defined your How I Serve board? And that's what this is. How I Serve 2020. A very clear definition. I did this on one of those big Post-it flip charts that shows exactly where my goals are and what the priorities are and exactly what I'm doing to leave legacy on the planet. Those R's are the legacy pieces where I'm just relationship building. The weekly wisdom email, the videos that are going out, inspiration videos, the 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge, the 10-day business internet entrepreneur startup challenge that still has to be filmed, the business assessment, the life assessment. These are all things that are either in process or going to be out there to help people get results faster, to move from awareness to leads. Anytime you do a challenge, it's a great lead conversion tool. Does that make sense? I think I've had like a few thousand people go through my 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge. Many of which I'll look back and I'll be like, they went through that in 2013 and they're working with me now in 2020. That's amazing. And that's how they first discovered me. But that seed was planted way back in 2013 when that challenge was originally debuted. Does that all make sense from the How I Serve piece? So as we think about your How I Serve vision board, if you want to call it that, or flip chart, or on a piece of paper with colored crayons, the green is level 2, and that's why this is at the top. And I've done previous trainings where we talked about the infinity offer, Life and Business Monthly Mastery, and it can be infinity because I'm not involved in an interactive way. Like with the mastery community, I'm involved in an interactive way. I cannot support 1,000 people that way. It's just impossible for me to even consider that at the level at which I want to do it. But at the infinity level, yeah, we've got 39 trainings, different competency paths if you do them in certain orders, to really gain in different areas of life. Relationships, more fun and freedom, how to create purposeful income. These are some of the topics in our life mastery. How to ask some great questions to 10x the quality of your life. Hint, hint. And then over here we have the mastery community. And that's it. Everything else is extra. All I'm trying to do is build the case for these two through the other pieces of work, as you'll see in my How I Serve board. The idea of the challenges, the wheel of perspective, all those kind of things. Does that all make sense? So let's stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. I know I've thrown a ton at you. We're trying to create a vision, strategy, plan, and some action steps for you to really create a stable foundation that you can go after for life. Literally, for your life, for the lives of others, to help them improve their lives, and if applicable, for you, grow their business. And we're doing it through the 5P lens, making sure we understand 3 levels of income, and we're making sure we understand our 3 main goals, and we're making sure whatever we do aims for this and aims for this. Not necessarily selling people, but educating them on how to buy. I love Jeffrey Gitomer's quote in that regard. But we're very clear about where that break even is for us. Most millionaires have 7 or more revenue streams. So you can pretty much guarantee they're not trading time for money in most of them, or any of them. They set them up and they go. And they rock. And they participate where they want to. And especially in thought leadership work. The How I Serve visualization board really helps us understand the ascension of that and the pricing of that. And I haven't talked about pricing in this video, and I'm not going to because I wanted to get it at a conceptual level. And then we can bring pricing into our Zoom roundtables, and we'll talk about the latest pricing tactics and what's working and what isn't in terms of monthly membership programs. And I plan on talking about that in our Zoom a little later today. My challenge for you is to prioritize level 2 and have an ascension ladder. So real easily thinking this through is if they get into this, you'll see in all of my trainings, I think all of them say this, hey, if you're in our mastery community, in our Zoom roundtable, we're going to take this deeper for you. So it's implanting or helping them understand there is a next level for them. If they want my personal support, we get on a discovery call. And then we can go to one-on-one coaching or one-on-one vision, strategy, and planning for their business. But that's based on availability. Does that make sense? So there's a huge ascension ladder in it. If you look this over, you'll see at this level, I'm just putting out goodwill to the world. And this is all evergreen. Well, this is all evergreen. This I have to do every week for that. And it's part of my weekly rhythm is to take some of the latest content, split it out, put it on YouTube, and then leverage it in the weekly wisdom. So the clips of the training. And then above and beyond that, we have life and then coaching. And all this stuff is totally because I love to do it. If I didn't, this wouldn't even be a part of the offer. Does that make sense? Like, I don't have to do any one-on-one at all. As a matter of fact, I could shut it all down tomorrow and just go after the scale piece, the top 2, right here, and then go after that. But I love the one-on-one work. I do trade time for money because I love to do it, and because I can, not because I have to. And that's the difference here as we think about that. So now, as we make this real for you, for each service, solution, or product, as we lay out your foundation, we've got to develop rhythms that go after the customer spectrum towards these 3 goals. So let's take a moment here and let's understand what the customer spectrum is, and I've covered this in some of our previous trainings. We have the entire world out here with 99.9999% of people lost. And there's a little smudge of them, or smidge of them, that if you put out content, they'll raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in that. It's not too high. If you have the right wording and the right pictures, through the power of persuasion, through ads and stuff like that, you can get people to be interested in it. And then you give them something so they can learn about how you help them or how you can help them through a specific problem they have. They've raised their hand and said they're interested. So when I think about people from the spectrum of life mastery, they're like, dude, life's too short for this crap. I need to change some stuff. I don't know what to change. That's my perfect customer. future customer from the learner perspective in the health, wealth, and happiness work that I do. In the business work, I want to build my own business. Tell me how to do that. Tell me that you can show me that you've done it successfully over multiple decades and you've dialed it in so I get personal freedom, which is the dream anyway. So if I shoot the message out around that and say, here's the plan for you, here's the learning, competency, skills you need to build, wisdom, abilities, all these kind of things, they raise their hand, they're interested. That's why challenges are really powerful. It kind of shoots the arrow across the bow and says, hey, if you're trying to get better energy in life and just done with the way life's showing up for you, these 10 areas matter. The future 10-day business entrepreneurial challenge, these 10 things matter. Interested. The shoppers are a little more dialed in. Show me. Show me what it is. Show me how we can make change. They want you to demonstrate it. So they search differently too, by the way. We talked about that in our previous training. Shoppers are much more educated typically, especially if they're at the buyer end of the spectrum instead of the learner end of the spectrum. And they're like, all right, Charlie seems like the guy. Let me go and ask people that he's worked with to see if he's helped them. Oh, wait, Charlie's been working with people for decades? Wow, that's something. And those are the kind of people that I love because they're the people that recognize legacy, unconditional love, compassion for the long term. Does that all make sense? The buyers, all right, I'm ready. Transform me. Take me down the path and let's go. Make it happen for me or help me make it happen for myself. And they're ready to be transformed. They're ready to make change. They're ready to go after it typically. And you're going to take them down the path to make the change. Just like what this training talks through. Imagine if you hadn't heard any of this. Some of our master community members have heard this. If you haven't heard any of this is a different dialogue. A lot of people have said, Char, they did not teach me this in college. This has come from the world of hard knocks in real life. This is all my stuff, my way of thinking through things. And then finally, the end of the customer spectrum is happy customers for the long term. Recurring revenue. It's a journey, not a destination. So what we have to think about is for every one of our services, solutions, or products, and I'm just going to give you a couple examples here. One of them is high performance coaching. Another one is my mastery community or my monthly program training. I have to think about the lost, the learners, the shoppers, the buyers, and what it takes to sustain happy customers. So if we break out my service of health, wealth, and happiness training, I've kind of already shared with you what that is. They're interested because they are tired of the way life's showing up. They might recognize life's short. As we think about this idea, I was pointing up here because I was thinking about our training from last session where I had the conveyor belt of life up there. They're thinking life is short and I got to change something to get better energy, have better people around me, to have a better experience in life, a better quality of life. It's all on me. Then we've got a real path for them. Does that make sense? So I have to run that through for the people that I want to go after to have the ambition of a better life. And I've got to think about it from the learner perspective, the shopper perspective, the buyer perspective, and the happy customer's perspective. This is where it maps into my How I Serve board. At the learner perspective, I'm putting out weekly wisdom. At the learner perspective, you're taking the 10-day challenge. At the learner perspective, you're filling out the life assessment. At the shopper perspective, you're like, Char, I got to get on a call with you. Please demonstrate for me how we can make this change. I got to get on a discovery call. You said it's free, it's 20 minutes. Let's just get in and sort this out for me. If at the end I say, do you want some help with that? The question I'm asking is, do you want me to help you transform your life? Yes. The answer, high performance coaching or health, wealth, and happiness mastery training. And that's in play for the long term. I don't even accept anymore high performance one-on-one coaching as a one-time payment. I just do it as a monthly recurring payment. And I just say, we're going to do this until you want to shut it off, till you no longer want it, till you no longer feel like you need high performance coaching. And nobody's balked at that. But it's all in the pre-frame of how I set it up along the spectrum. Does that make sense? So just so you have frame in coaching, sometimes there's 12 sessions for 12 grand or whatever it is. I just set a price per month, depending on whether they want it weekly or bi-weekly. I usually do weekly or bi-weekly, so weekly or every other week. And there's a price for that. And it's just paid. And you just go in and set it up. And it's done until. The moment you tell me to stop it, you can cancel it on your own. And you're done. Does that all make sense? Isn't that pretty powerful? But that's the spectrum of that. Let's go through the spectrum with another service of mine. One-on-one high performance coaching. At the learner level, I'm interested. Okay, Go ahead and watch these couple videos to understand what it takes to live a high-performance lifestyle. Watch the high-performance definition video, which is a clip from my high-performance coaching. Watch the high-performance living video, and let me know if this is something you're interested in. Yeah, Char, I'm interested in it. Okay, show me. All right, well, here's a strategy session you and I can do, and it's 90 minutes long. Go ahead and sign up for it here and apply for it as well so that I have a frame for how we're going to approach it. Cool. Transform. All right, you're going to get some of that in the strategy session, but it's through the journey of it. And that's where you can do one-on-one coaching, or you can join our mastery community and have the group coaching as part of a bigger ambition. So that's usually what I'll sort out in that strategy session or discovery call, is the offer that I'll recommend for them so they're a happy customer and they're on the journey with me. Does that all make sense, how this is piecing together? I hope it does. So your job is for each of your services, solutions, or products, and again, the products on mine are these top two in green, and then these, for each of these, is to think through the customer spectrum and really understand what you're doing at an awareness level, at a lead conversion level, and at a sales level for those customers. So let me walk you through this, because I know this is a lot at a foundation level, is to think through, okay, from the awareness level, the beauty is, let me just kind of frame for you with what we're doing today. I will take this video and I'll clip out pieces of it. I'm aiming for 4 clips for this hour-long training. And they'll go out in a YouTube strategy. These trainings go out every Thursday. It's Thursday is Business Mastery Day. And it's usually anywhere from 3 to 12 minutes long. And it goes out and it has a promise with it. This bundled piece has a promise with it. And I might just have this as a clip when I was teaching through that, and have this as a clip when I was teaching through that, and maybe this is a clip. And maybe where I talk about how I serve board too, or the front end of the perspective piece as a clip. And it just shoots across the bow people to say, you know what? I haven't thought about that. I'm interested. Show me how it's done. Oh, okay, I can click in and get the whole training? Awesome. Transform me. Oh, okay. I can go up to a level where I'm getting, more support and help through the mastery community or through coaching. Done. Does that all kind of land for you as we think this through? Our job for each service, solution, and product is to piece it out and understand the segments and what we're doing to generate awareness, leads, and sales. Awareness, leads, and sales. And I would challenge you to think about it from a level 2 recurring revenue piece. I hope this is all landed for you. If you want the easy, quick hit version of what I just covered, you need to determine one recurring revenue-based offer that you're willing to put in the time for 10 years, 10x, 10 years to go after. You also want to make sure you know what your break even is. So the moment you match that, you've got enough subscribers to hit your break even, you're like, this thing's got legs. And you have a whole sensation, which I've been there as we watched the numbers come in and saw that happen for people. And they're like, Char, this is amazing. And they have a huge sensation of freedom when that happens. Level 2, break even. And that we're doing something consistent with an active rhythm, as I like to call it, of putting content into the world, and we're promoting that content to really generate the awareness, however people want to experience it. Now that could be in different social media platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, email is how we're doing it. We're not doing TikTok. Instagram. That can also be people hearing what you have to say through podcasts, watching you say it through like YouTube, so SoundCloud for podcasts, YouTube, and reading what you have to say through blogs. And that you're actually putting that into the world somewhere, somehow. So many people are like, I've been blogging for 3 years and I haven't got any kind of result. Have you shared your blog on LinkedIn as an article? Have you shared your blog on medium.com? Do you have very clear calls to action about the next step? Hey, if you love what's going on in this blog, go here and watch this video or get this life assessment to sort out where you're at in life right now and where you might need some help. And that's where that lead conversion can happen. That's the magic. This is the customer spectrum. That's what we need to be thinking about. So let's go through. This ends the training part of our work today. Let's go through the action piece. First, print your success roadmap. Today, we dove deep on your foundation Next session, we'll be diving deep on campaigns. How do we get this into a rhythm? And I'll be sharing you all the campaigns that are working for us right now. I'm going to break them down for you, make sure you fully understand what they are and how to make them yours. Some of you have already gotten that in advance and you're already doing it. Some of you have me and my team doing it too, which is awesome. So print your success roadmap. Define your break-even, comfort, and dream. If you need help, come into the Zoom roundtable. We'll walk through how you can do that. I have a financial worksheet, a simple one, that we can give you. Define your How I Serve vision board. Prioritize level 2. And that's what the How I Serve vision board is. Right there. And I'll make sure there's pictures of this in our replay so you can download it and get the visualization of it. I think in some of our previous trainings, I've done that as a vision, strategy, and planning exercise. Number 4, for each service, solution, or product, 3 pieces. A, which levels are actualized? You can see, I think about level 1, 2, or 3, how am I actualizing in these clips? The idea of percentage of sale, percentage of profit. You know, I put those YouTube clips out. Inside that, it's like, hey, if you want to join and get more access to this, this training right here. If you're watching my YouTube flight simulator videos, there's the whole gaming rig. If you go on my business mastery and you learn how I set up the studio, you get water. I've got all the YouTube links for everything in here. Delicious. That's the magic there. B, vision, strategy, and plan for each goal. What am I doing here at an awareness level for continuity of putting good content into the world? What am I doing here at a leads level? What am I doing here at a sales level? So let me break that down for you real simple. Awareness, weekly wisdom. Leads, 10-day Health Wealth Happiness Challenge, life assessment. Sales, mini launches. Saying, hey, we're doing a training this month on this topic. If you want to join us, sign up by this time and this date, get in the training, and here's a little bonus for you. And it's a $1 trial. Simple. Patrick just did that. Crushed it. Got a couple conversions. Hey, Patrick, rocking it out. And then finally, C, VSPA for the customer spectrum. Your vision, strategy, and plan for how you're helping people along the spectrum. How you're helping people from what we classify as the lost out there to say, hey, I am interested in what you have. Show me how it's done. Transform. Now I'm yours. Really thinking that through per service. So when I look at this, how am I showing, guys, I got this out here for you. Oh, I'm showing you inside the clip. Transform, buy it. Happy customer. Does that make sense? So I hope that helps. Maybe when I edit this video, I'll put in a cutaway of, you'll see right here, I can show you where the video clip is a piece of this training. And then below it, I have the description of exactly, hey, if you love this training, here's how you get the trial of it. Here's, go click here to get the trial. Click here to go through and get right into the whole training. And then here's 3 things you can do to ninja move and make things really happen for you. Does that all help? So this is the foundation piece. I'm going to do it one more time for you. First, we create a great vision. We talked about it. Purpose, passion, positivity, productivity. Do it through the lens of that. We talked that through at the beginning. Second, we've really got to define what we're trying to do from a financial so we can sustain the message. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Then we set the dream as our goal. If it's $500K a year as dream, how are we going to make level 2 match that? 500 people at $85 a month. Right? 500 people. It seems like a lot, but then you think about the total people on the planet, not so much. Now we have to define what we're doing to serve them for the long term. The offer or offers. I would challenge you to prioritize level 2. And I've shown you how that works in our space. Now for each service, solution, or product, we have to be clear about the awareness, leads, and sales generated. We also have to be clear about the customer spectrum and how we're going to continually build, create, and sustain awareness, leads, and sales for the long term. And that is simple behavioral rhythms. And if this seems way too overwhelming for you, we are living action of it. And we'll be diving deep on our next session. And I'll be able to answer whatever you got in our Zoom roundtable. So let's go get it and rock it out. And I'll see you there in just a couple minutes. I hope this has helped clarify where to concentrate. I hope you see with what I shared at the beginning how if people had sorted this out in advance of creating their business, along the idea of fail to plan, plan to fail, and along the other idea of 7 revenue streams, most millionaires have 7 revenue streams, be a different game. Along the idea of setting up goals to hit break even, what's the threshold, what's the pricing, how do we get there, what's the reality of it, what are we saying, what are we putting out, who are we communicating with? This asks all kinds of powerful questions. That being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to help you build your foundation. And I cannot wait to see what you create. So if you're feeling up to it, share it with me. And I'll see you in our Zoom Roundtable in just a few minutes. Thank you so much. We rocked it. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.